Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Welcome back to op.gg reviews. So I did the first, obviously, episode a few days ago, and people really enjoyed it. There was obviously some feedback of what to do, what not to do, so I will definitely be taking that on board. But one thing I'm never going to do is sugarcoat things. If somebody is just clearly a little bit, well, they're doing something wrong, I'm going to say that. And one thing I'll say, if you're watching it on YouTube, is you guys can't see the Twitch chat. I am interacting with the people that have, like, put their accounts up for interaction. And basically, last time, if memory serves correct, there was that Annie jungle person, and I was being a little bit harsh to that person. And some people in the YouTube comments going, whoa, you know, stay to your horses. The one thing you guys didn't see is that that person was trying to make excuses for why they were bronze 5, pretty much. And it's like, no, you can't do that, basically. But anyway, we've got a fair amount of them to do, so this video may even be split into 2 videos. I'm not sure. But let's get into it. So the first one is North America. A person called Mighty Daz. They are Silver 5. They've played a decent amount of games already in the season. Playing, what, that's 100 and... math 60-ish? Sure, we'll go with that, or something like that. 170. Last ranked game, though, was 8 days ago, and I did just update it, so that should be up to date, relatively. So let's just look at the overall champions. So Echo, 70% win rate, that's pretty damn good. Then there's Varus. So it actually looks to be more or less like an Echo one-trick. And I will say, again, if you do want to get involved with this series, being a one-trick probably isn't the best thing, because there's not much advice that I can say to you that you probably would even listen to, because my general advice would never be a one-trick. And, like, again, obviously, they've played multiple stuff, but when the vast majority of your games, 50 games, and the next one is 9, you're looking at that's a very, very intense main. So obviously the first thing that we can just generally see is that the farm is very low. So on average, the farm is 130 in all the games, but the win rate is doing quite well. So I don't know if this person jungles Echo at all. We will check that. But yeah, if I had to guess, I would think that they were doing some jungle games, because I don't see how that farm would be that low, but we will go over it. So 10 kill on average, they're getting nearly 11 kills a game, 7.5 to 6. I would say, again, that is very high deaths, and again, we are looking at, on average, very high deaths. Anything over 5 deaths, to me, is pretty damn high. So 7.5, 7.2, 10.7, Zed is probably not for you, I'd say. 7.7, 9, like, geez, you need to really calm it down. So I'm going to be guessing, again, I always have to do a bit of guessing and speculation here, and then the person can confirm or deny if it's them. And last episode, I was very accurate. You're a very aggro player, but I don't know why. I have a hint of maybe you're a bit inexperienced, so you go for plays when you probably shouldn't. And it's like, I'm going to do it, and then it goes bad, and you end up dying. And obviously, you're getting kills for it, but again, not always a 1-for-1 is a worth trade. And just to remind everybody, in League, you get more gold through minions than you do kills. And it's actually a considerable amount. So, yeah, because, like, nearly, if you're looking at every single wave of the game, you're getting, what, 23 farm-ish, or 20-ish farm per minion. It might even be 21. 6 minions per wave. You know, a wave and a half is a kill. So, you know, or a bit over that. But still, you get my general premise. So let's just look through some games. So again, I don't know if Zed is for you, just general if we're looking and combining. When you're having more deaths than kills, that is a really bad sign. So that's just one thing. Also, taking Exhaust is a bit interesting. I don't know why you take Exhaust versus, or as a Zed. You were against probably an Echo, but still, that's a bit odd. Luck support, you guys know my opinion on that. Don't. And there's actually a few games of that, so just don't. You're not helping your AD carry. Echo, so there's a game there. So you are going, obviously, the new Spellbinder build, pretty much standard. Again, the CS is very low. 40-minute game, 100 farm, pretty low. So yeah, the general thing, you know, 20-minute game, 70 farm. So yeah, the 100% first thing that we can say is just farm. Like, that is your biggest... Well, there's two things. One, your farm is very low. And obviously, yes, this is, what, Silver 5? It's not a high rating, but it's Silver 5. But if you want to climb, and again, this is the people that want to climb, that want to try and get up. When you go into a game of League, majority of people are on autopilot. They're kind of just like, I'm just playing, la-di-da-di-da. They're not really thinking. I want you to go into your solo queue games and actually think, I need to farm. I need to farm. I constantly have it in your head. And you will find that you'll probably do better because you're constantly thinking about it. And that's how good people get better at basic stuff, is they think about it and then it becomes natural to them. Then they don't have to think about it. So really think about it. And then the other thing is making your deaths lower. And like I said last episode of op.gg reviews, even if that makes your kills less, that is worth it. The less kills that the enemy team has, the more likely you're going to win. Even if it means you have less, because you can trust yourself more than, let's say, the enemy. That if you get a kill, and they get a kill, well, you could probably stay in mid lane, and they could roam, and they could use that advantage, and you may not. So just tone it down on the kills, be, like, kind of less kind of crazy about them, and farm. And then the final thing, again, I never want to bombard people with, like, this. 2 or 3 points, I think, is enough, and then you can come back in a month or whatever, and then see if, we can see. 0 control wards. Literally, you have not bought 1 control ward ever. Like, literally, like, it comes here or here. That it says how many control wards. 0, 0. Like, literally, you have not bought 1. I've never seen that before. I literally have never seen somebody ever never buy one. And this is where I would actually say, do you know control wards exist? Because you've literally not bought... Okay, there's 1. Okay, there's 1. There's 1. Is that it? So there's very occasional. So it took us a while to find. Like, none here. There's 1. And there's only 1. There's 2. There's 1. So it's very occasional. So yeah, buy control wards. They are your best friend. So yeah, my 3 points. Lower the deaths and focus on that. Even if it means you get less kills. Second thing is farm, and really when you're in game, think about farm. And then the third thing is buy control wards. Those are the 3 things I'd advise you. Again, come back. You don't have to come back. It's just an option. But I will say, one thing I wanted to say is congrats on the good win rate. 50 games played, 70% win rate. That is something to be proud of. That is definitely good. Just kind of fix those things, because 130 farm on average is very low. So if you fix that, get a little bit better with it, you'll actually find that, your win rate may not go up, but eventually, like a lot of people go, oh, my win rate's insane, like, this will carry me the whole way to diamond or something. You will find eventually that your playstyle will just simply not work as well. It won't work as well as it was before, because people are getting better all the time. But if your CS isn't improving as everybody else is improving, you're actually going to just start getting further behind. So there we go. That is the first profile. Thank you very much. I think that was okay. But yeah. Let's go for the next one. This is going to be Funny Man Down 1. Let's update. What I will say, guys, if you're at home and you are going to get one of these, if you've donated or you're a tier 2 Twitch sub, can you go on your op.gg and actually press update? What the hell's happened here? If you can press update yourself, then I don't need to do it. It just saves a little bit of time. Okay, so we just updated it. Silver 4 on North America. Not played a crazy amount of games. 33 wins, 28, but it's a positive win rate. That is something to be happy about. Again, technically you can climb with a 50% win rate in League of Legends, because if you've got positive MMR, you'll gain more rating than you lose. So a 50% win rate, you can climb. So yeah, that's pretty good. Let's look at some champions. So again, not a one trick at all, and this is the type of profile that I actually like reviewing, because there's a lot to it. There's just not a lot of games. So the first one is Shyvana, 83% win rate. Well, that's great right there. 83% win rate, 6 games played. Obviously not a lot to go off, but that KD is very impressive. The farm's obviously pretty good. If you're combining all of those factors, it's great. Like, your KDA is really good. And again, KDA means nothing if you're not winning. But your KDA is good, combining with that win rate, which to me is saying that you have big impact. Your farm is not bad. Again, that'll be for jungling farm. 160 farm on an average jungle, that's completely fine. So I'd say that's pretty good. That's top bombing. Next thing is Maokai. I don't know if you're playing him, I'd presume top lane, because he's not really a jungler. So maybe he's your top laner. Fizz, I think we just got another one. Your Fizz probably is a mid lane option, I'd imagine. And again, your win rates are really good. Your win rates are pretty good. So that's something to be proud of champions that you're like, yay, this is me. I'm guessing you're just starting to pick up Nocturne after some of the recent changes, potentially. But one thing I'm going to be guessing is that you have too many champions. So I already see a fair amount here. You've got, what, 50-ish games played, and this doesn't add up to probably even, like, 20, 30 games. But let's see how many champions you've played. I'm going to guess you've played, like, 40 champs. If it works, it's a bit buggy. Is it going to work? No, god damn it. If op.gg's dying, that's going to be really annoying for me, because how am I going to do reviews? We can have just a little look down, I guess, because this is working. Okay, so last episode, I kind of gave some people advice of, you know, you're not having consistency or anything like that if you're not playing the same thing quite often. Nocturne, Olaf, I don't know what that is because it doesn't say. Neither is it maybe it's Kai'Sa because she's new and so they might not have her profile image. One, I'd say I don't think Kai'Sa is going to be a great jungler. That's just me. But if again, we're talking about consistency, so Nocturne, Olaf, probably Kai'Sa, Zac, Rammus, Fiddle, Amumu, Rammus, Vi, Zac, Shyvana, Amumu, Warwick, 2 Rengar. Where's the consistency? There is very little consistency in what you're playing. So in order to climb and get better, you're not really going to help yourself. And again, this is where it differs from rating to rating. You can't compare two, is because in a low rating, you know, your silver 4, this is where your biggest growth should be coming, is you're learning the game, you're getting better. And again, some people will always going to go, Huz, but you don't do that. Yeah, but I'm quite comfortable in diamond. Like I'm okay with doing that. If you're 1 silver and you do want to push out, like when I first got diamond, sure, I still did play a lot of champions, but I definitely played a few champions in a row at each time. Yes, my champion pool was way too big, but I probably had like 3 games of Lux and then 3 games of Kayle and then 3 games of Ryze, that type of thing. That really, really helps. So that is one thing I would just definitely recommend off bat, is play the same champions a few times to get the consistency going. And the cool thing, and what I will say about a lot of jungle champions, is they do share similarities. So if you're playing Nocturne, it will actually help you a little bit get better at Olaf. A little bit, but it will help. And then we've got like a random Fiddle game in there, but you did okay. But again, I will say, be very careful of just randomly picking stuff up. Like, I don't know if you do your research about it or you're just picking it up for the sake of it. But it does look, there's a bit of like sporadic stuff going on a bit. But obviously, Shyvana looks to be your kind of core champion, which is great. She's a great champion to have a core around, considering she just got buffed. But overall, there's not really much bad stuff to say. Like, for Silver 4, you've not played a lot. You've got a positive win rate. You're doing well on the champions you play. Honestly, to me, this is a lot about just play more. Like, again, part of climbing that you can't deny, and a lot of people, like, go, I deserve that rating. You may be able to get to that rating. You don't deserve it if you don't get it, but you may be able to get to a higher rating, but you have to play. You have to get to a higher rating. There's no if, buts, or maybes. Everybody has to go through the same thing. Well, I'd say right now, looking at your profile, you're doing quite well, and maybe you can push to higher silver. Maybe you can do something like that, but you have to play more. So that's the thing. Like, again, there's not much bad thing to say. Like, there's not a lot of games to go off, but play more consistently. Maybe don't just randomly jump on different champions randomly, because, you know, that's not going to help. If you, again, want to push for that gold or something like that, consistency is where that comes. And again, one of the biggest differences between high-rating players, so challengers, diamonds, and stuff like that, is consistency. Someone's telling me, because it works for them, he's played 32 champions. 32 is quite a lot. You know, for only 50-ish games played, 32 is quite a lot of champions in 50 games. So potentially, as I guessed, can like control that. And then, yeah, finally, as Gals has pointed out, which I was gonna get to, was control wards once again. So we now know control wards appear here. 0, 0, no control wards, 0 control wards, no control wards, keep her going, no control wards. So again, like the last guy, it kind of seems that you don't know control wards exist. So definitely buy some control wards, because it's especially in the jungle, they're very handy, because you can place them in the jungle, and just they'll stay there for a very long time if you place them at the right time. So yeah, let's just see if we can do, like, we'll just refresh it one more time and see if we can make it work. Maybe I'll click here and see if that works. There we go. How many of you played? You have played 32 champions. So yeah, that is way too many. And again, you can just see like some of the performances of only your 1-game champions: 0-6, 1-11, 10 deaths on Yi. So like some of these, you just get rid of them. Like don't play them. Only play champs that you're comfortable with. And that doesn't mean like, you know, every now and then you're gonna have to play a champion for the first time. Obviously, that's how it works. But make sure you're doing your research about them. Make sure you've played probably a little bit about them. And again, it's where you can't really compare yourself to diamond players, because a lot of people go, but a diamond player goes straight into a ranked game on their first ever time. Yeah, but that's a diamond player. Again, I know that sounds elitist or whatever, but there is differences. There's a reason people get to diamond. And to be honest, most diamond players should still play on normal or something when a new champion comes out. But yeah, overall advice: control wards are your best friend. Get consistency, and don't just randomly be picking up random champs. So there's your 3 things. Hopefully you'll take that into consideration. Hopefully that will help you, my good friend. Next one. Oh, actually, I just noticed someone donated actually for a pick in Unranked to Diamond, and it's for Zed, so we will do Zed. Let's do the next one. Next one is an EUS person. Yay, a fellow EUStian. Sure. Let's update it, because it was updated a month ago, apparently. And they've changed their icon in that time. Okay, so we are Gold 3. Got a positive win rate of 53%, so that's pretty good. Gold 3 is in the top 13% of the game. And, you know, that's kind of crazy thing. No one considers Gold 3 a high rating, but you're in the top 13%. That's not bad. You know, that's really not bad. So let's get into it. So, again, 20 games is my, you know, number that I always base most stuff about. But 35 games played with a 51% win rate with a godlike KDA. Wow. 5.2 KDA, or nearly 5.3 KDA, is really goddamn good. But like, again, KDAs, again, like I've said before, they don't really matter that much if you're not winning. The win, you know, if you're matching your KDA, which is actually godlike, 5.3 over 35 games, is really goddamn good, but only a 51% win rate. That doesn't quite match up. So what I would say is that you're probably like doing really well, but maybe you need like a bigger impact. Like, you've got a lot of assists there and everything, but maybe there's just something like missing. And again, this is what OP.GG reviews can't do, is I can't say what is missing. I can guess, but I can't say what. But if you're matching that KDA with that win rate, it doesn't quite match up. Let me just quickly check it is on ranked, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's something that you know that you're missing. But the KDA is godlike. Of where you want a Sejuani KD to be, as in not that many kills, low deaths, and high assists, that's really good. So well done for that. Next, your Warwick. Again, really good KD. Okay, so again, I guess we could create a pattern here. Is if you're a KD player, you might be a KD player, potentially. Like, if you've got good KDs on everything, but not necessarily like godlike win rates or anything like that, maybe that's what's going on, potentially. Again, speculating. I'm not 100%. I never can be with an OP.GG review, but that's what maybe we can speculate. But overall, you're doing fine. Like, overall, 51% win rate. Again, you can climb with that. 60% win rate, really good in 30 games. 40% win rate's not great, you know. 89% rate is really good. You've lost, what, 1 game on Wukong? And then, you know, then the dip starts to happen. A little bit good on Xin there, but yeah, the dip happens a little bit there too. So let's break down some of just the games. So really good performance. That's a new tier 2. We'll get to tier 2s after we do all the donation ones. I think there's 1 or 2 more donation ones. So let's just go over, some of the games. Let's look at kill participations, because that's important for junglers. So 77, 62, 45, 55, 57, 39, 67, 58, 50. So I always say about 60% is what you're looking for. If you want to climb, you want to take control of games, about 60% kill participation. You're hitting on it on quite a lot, which is good. Yeah, no, it's not bad. Like, yeah, I guess between 50 and 60% random Pantheon. But yeah, not bad. Like, again, I'm pretty impressed, to be honest. Like, for a gold 3, and again, like I said in another profile, part of climbing is time and just playing more. Sure, you've got a decent amount of games, but I think you'll continue just to keep climbing. It may not be like a crazy fast pace, like, let's say, Unranked to Diamond is, but it's not going to be if this is your main account. I think you'll just have a very steady climb if you're just playing the way that you are. And who knows, you might end up in, like, low plat by the end of the season. So that's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. Some really good performances, and I would say arguably your performances are higher and better on your carry junglers or your bruiser carry junglers rather than your tank junglers. Because if you actually look into it, you've got more games of Sejuani, but your KD is alright, but that means you're not winning because you can't personally have that carry pressure. But your Warwick that has more carry pressure, as like a Warwick, you've got a higher win rate. Your Wukong that has higher carry pressure than a Sejuani, you're winning more. So maybe you as a player should just be like playing just more carry junglers. Just play carry picks, and that's how you'll climb. So maybe focus on your Warwick and your Wukong, and that will be just a really good thing to do. As for control wards, they're fine. You know, there's nothing bad about them. Yeah. Again, some people in the Twitch chat are saying, oh, like, as in they look at my profile. Again, there are differences of different ratings. Again, that's why I'm doing each individual profile individually. You can't compare different ratings to different profiles and stuff like that. That gets a bit complicated. But overall, not bad. Again, there's not a crazy amount of advice that I can give. What I do want to see is how many champions you've played. Only 25? Honestly, that's not that bad. Considering you've played way more games, like you've played 150-ish games, 25 champions in 150 games isn't that bad. Like, again, what we can just say is the other profile, he played more champions in less games. So, you know, there's just one thing to note. As for champions that you've played only once, any terrible performances? Not really. So it does maybe seem that you do your research on champions that you've only played once. Because again, that's always the risk, is that they've only played once. Have they done the research? And yeah, you're doing all right on games you've only played once. Udyr looks a bit rough, so maybe just, you know, Udyr. I'm not a big fan of him. But overall, not bad. It does seem you have a little bit of range in what you can play. Like Zavaris with good performance there. You've got, like, different types of junglers. So, you know, honestly, not bad. There's not a lot of bad stuff to say. I think if you just keep doing what you're doing, on average, I think you'll keep climbing. Sure, not a crazy high rate, but a good rate. A fine rate for your first ever climb. Because, you know, you were you finished Gold 3, 62 LP, and you're already higher than that. I think you'll be fine. I think you're like, if you keep playing the current way you're playing with the contribution you're having and you focus on carry junglers, you'll probably end up in platinum. Like, to be honest, like, I think you'll be more than fine. So really well done. Really well done. All right, next one. We have, I think, yeah, we got one more. This is the last donated one. And then we'll do the tier 2 ones. This is on EU West, Aiden S1471, Silver 4, slightly negative win rate, so that's obviously the first thing that we can note. But let's break it down. Alright, so some champions just to note. Let's just change those both to solo queue. Fizz, 63% win rate, 2.4 KDA, quite high deaths though, nearly 7. That's quite high. Xerath, obviously a champion close to my heart. 6 deaths for a Xerath, I would think, is quite high. And again, it will depend what rating you're in, but yeah, potentially there's quite a high amount of deaths on Xerath. But it's a good win rate at least, and it's good farm. Over 200 farm is where I'd generally be okay with. Got... Okay, wait, what are you? You're a mid and top lane main, I think. 70% win rate in 10 games, that's fine. Again, high deaths. Kassadin doesn't look to be for you. Again, I always say 20 games, but sometimes you can tell a little bit quicker. 22% win rate in 9 games. Cho'Gath, 0% win rate. Brand, 0% win rate. And then Viger. Just want to really quickly check right at the beginning. You've only played 12 champions, that's fine. And then... So yeah, you're a mid and top lane person, but mainly mid lane. And then, well, really you've got 3 picks. More or less you're a 3-pick person, right? You've got your Fizz, Xerath, and Urgot. So I guess we can have a little look through. So again, the first thing that we can kind of say is just deaths. Really focus on your deaths, as in lower them. And again, like I've said before in other people's advice, even that means you have 1 less kill, 1 less death, that is usually worth it. Also, just quick, we can actually say control wards are fine. You know, well done. But yeah, overall performances, have a look, see. So, Fizz, low farm, but okay kill participation. So obviously that was more of a kill game for you. Swain, a little bit low on both, but, you know, not terrible, just very high deaths. A pretty good game of Xerath. 24 minutes, 170 farm, that's fine. 40-minute game, 250, not terrible, with an 88% kill participation. That's really good. So yeah, not bad performances. You know, you'll have the occasional one. They're always going to happen, but you know, not bad. I'd say probably get rid of the Cassidy pick. Like, you had a good performance here, but on average, a 22% win rate's not great. So I'd be careful of that. If you do want to keep playing him, go for it. But it's up to you when you drop that champion, or if you kind of keep going, persevering. It depends how much you enjoy the champion. But really, your profile is these 3 champions, right? It's these 3 champions that you're going to be using to climb majority of the time. Are they 3 good champions to climb with? More or less. Like, you know, looking at what you're doing, if you lower the deaths, your win rates are good. Yeah, like, you'll be fine. I'd say maybe farm has to go up a little bit, maybe on Fizz, but not crazy. Again, Fizz isn't a farm-intensive champion. He is a kill champion. But you want to maximize both, right? You want to maximize how many kills you get with how much farm you get. Boom, bang, boom. Get the most gold, carry the game. But yeah, not bad. Like, again, you got a negative win rate, but I'd wager most of this negative win rate is from these champions that you probably just shouldn't really be playing. Like, you know, 3 losses here, 2 losses there, 22% win rate. So a lot of your losses of why your negative win rate is that. Like, if you only took these 3 into consideration, your win rate would be pretty damn good. It would be probably averaging about 65%, roughly. So, honestly, I think that's pretty fine. So just drop stuff, like, that you just don't play much. If you are going to pick up new stuff, just make sure you know what you're doing. But again, it depends what type of person you want to be. Like, climbing isn't hard if you deserve it, but it is hard your first ever time getting to a new rating. And if you want to do that, basically being a 3-trick pony, you can do it, but always be careful. That's going to definitely put you into a bit of a box. What I will say with you, which is good, is there is a big range of champions. Like, they're very different from each other. So, like, if someone's doing a 1 or a 2-trick pony, and they play basically the identical champions. If they're, like, say, a Jackson Aurelia player, and they only play Jackson Aurelia, they're very used to that playstyle. And let's say they get Diamond with Jackson Aurelia, ask them to go on something completely different, they're going to struggle because they're used to a very similar playstyle on their champions. Where with you, Fizz, Xerath, Urgot are very different. So it's not going to hurt you as much. The only thing that could potentially hurt you is that you don't really have, like, a ranged auto attacker. Like, there's Urgot, but he's not really the same, as you probably know. So maybe even look to pick up Gnar if you enjoy him. That would kind of give that aspect to it, and it gives you more tankiness, more CC. Maybe that would be worth looking into. But overall, not bad. Again, win rates don't mean everything. Again, they're a bit deceiving. Your win rate is negative only by 3 games, and a lot of that is just simply because you're just playing random champions. So get rid of that urge. And again, if you ever have an urge that you're like, I have to play a random champion, do it in a normal game. Do it, in flex queue, I guess, but, like, not really. Just do it in a normal game, or play an ARAM, who knows. But that's probably going to be that. Like, again, it's mainly about limiting it, sticking with champions you know, and lowering your deaths. That's pretty much for you. Like, that I think solid. And if you follow that, I think you'll probably turn that win rate around really quick, and I think you'll be completely fine. So, yeah. All right, so next, we are going to be doing tier 2 subs. So we've got, I actually need to see who's a tier. So we've got Radalf, who is a tier 2 Twitch sub. We've got, we've got you as well, Jill Jachevs. And then we had one more, didn't we? I think we got 3 today, so Radalf or G Chevs, just say what your summoner name is. I think it was Yukova, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay. So one of you just say what your profile is, and yeah. Look at item builds. I guess we can while we have a little look. I wouldn't build Spellbinder on Swain. I don't think you need it. There's nothing standing out to me that's terrible, apart from that Spellbinder. Yeah, it's just standard item builds, really. That's fine. All right, so okay. Oh, is Squared and Mike Dude, are you tier 2 as well? Okay. Boom. What was this? LAN. Okay. GG. Alright, update. Alright, so let's get into it. So Platinum 4 on LAN. Again, I never just like to speak ill of other servers, but obviously LAN is known to be a bit of less of quality. But we'll see. So we were in pro mode at Platinum 3. That's good. Haven't played a lot of games, but got a positive win rate, so that's great. Champions, mainly obviously a mid laner by the looks of it, but does have occasional different little things here and there. So a little bit of jungle, a little bit of top maybe. So mainly Nivea is your looks to be main. 27 games played, 59% win rate, 4.4 KDA. That's pretty good. And what I like to see, low deaths. That's good. So well done. That's the first tick in the box. Next is Fizz, and you'll notice straight away the kills, the deaths go a lot higher. 70% win rate in 10 games. That's pretty good. Shyvana, not bad, 67. There's your Xerath. Very low farm for a Xerath. I wouldn't be surprised if that was support Xerath. Because, yeah, that seems a bit unlikely to be mid. Swain, only 2 games played. So, again, it's very hard for me to go off this type of thing when there's only 1 or 2 games played. So mainly, again, it looks like you're like a lot like doing this op.gg stuff, by the way, is actually opening to my eyes to how many people play very little champions. And that isn't necessarily a bad thing. But again, very often you can put yourself into a box. And if you do that, you'll potentially struggle to get out of it. But your champions do have some diversity, which is at least good. Like Anivia is a lot different to Fizz, and that's a lot different to Shyvana. So that's good. And it does look like you potentially are picking the old Swain up. I wonder why. But, yeah, let's just have a quick look. So, yeah, definitely a Nivea. Always running teleport. I wonder if you got that from me. Because I always run teleport. Why do you... Did you have Spellbook in this game? No, wait, what? Why do you have teleport? What's up with that? Why do you have Smite teleport with Electrocute Evelyn? That's a bit odd to see. But let's look at kill participations a bit. So 80, 67, 33, I presume you got auto-filled. 59, 82, 38, 51, 50, 48. So around 50%-ish. So potentially kill participation needs to go up a little bit. Because, yeah, kill participation a little bit. It does seem your Swain is doing good. And you've just picked him up. Again, these are your 2 games on him. You'll probably like Swain. If you like Anivia, you'll probably like Swain. There are some similarities there, which again does lead to being, when you're getting good at one, you'll get better at the other. Control wards, you're buying them nearly every game, which is fine. Again, there's not a lot of bad stuff to say. When people give me profiles when they haven't played a lot of games, a lot of the time there's not a lot to go off. You've only played 40-odd games. You're on Plat 4 with a positive win rate. You've got your champions that you seem to be good with. What I probably could say, if we go into champions and if it works, you've played 13 champions, but there's just some off-random performances here. You know, there's a Warwick that's 3 and 12. There's an Evelyn 3 and 12. Jinx 0 and 5. 2 Akali games 3 and 11. So it does seem like maybe you pick up stuff that when you shouldn't. And again, the urge is never to be a one trick, and obviously I completely agree with that. But it's always to do maybe a bit more research of when you're going in. Because, like, to me, if someone's playing a champion for the first ever time in ranked and they go 3 and 12, to me that just kind of says they probably didn't do the research, or they didn't do it in a normal game first, or something like that. Usually. But it does seem like you've got a new pick potentially in Swain, so potentially play him a bit more, and that will add to your champion pool and definitely round it off a little bit. But what I will say is that, again, you've got to take autofill into consideration. I haven't even mentioned this in op.gg reviews yet, and I always recommend people to have at least 1 pick in every single role, just in case. Where to me, it does obviously seem that, like, again, it's very hard for me to kind of say this concretely because there's only 1 game of each. But if you compare your Tristana to your Jinx, obviously you know which one to probably pick. And also, when you're being auto-filled, playing a champion that is at higher risk to getting caught is probably not a good idea. Jinx is really easy to get caught. She has no mobility apart from a passive, and that's just simply running. So picking Tristana that has a jump, or picking, like Ezreal that has his E, a lot of time when you're auto-filled, having champions with escape is a lot better because you may not know exactly what to do at what situation. But if you've got an escape, that helps a lot. And then obviously for your support, I don't see one. Maybe Brand is your support. I'm not really sure. But to me, it does seem that you don't... Well, Malphite is probably your top laner. But again, you can definitely take Swain top. Swain is actually being played a lot more top than it is mid, even though I play him mid. You can definitely take him top. So if you're playing and you get autofilled, just take him there. But overall, not bad. Again, there's not a lot to go off. I'm impressed with the Anivia. That's fine. Low deaths, which I like to see. Over 200 farm average. 4.4 KDA. That's good. You know, there's nothing really bad I can say about that, to be honest. You know, I'm not... Again, we're not asking perfection here. This isn't Challenger. This isn't even High Diamond. So we're not asking for absolute boom. So it's completely fine. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't pick up random stuff. And if you are picking up new stuff... Try new things, or like someone said, if you are autofill dodge, that is an option as well. But to me, you can't dodge all the time. Eventually, you will have to play stuff that you don't play. But yeah, not bad. So I'd just be careful with like random picks. Again, we didn't actually confirm where that Xerath is going, if it's support or mid. Again, I'm presuming it's support because the farm is incredibly low, or unless your Xerath just really isn't for you. That could be it. But yeah, overall, keep doing what you're doing. Maybe focus a little bit less on not dying on Fizz, but really the win rate, and he's a kill champion, so that's not terrible. But yeah, you'll climb, just play more. Again, I never want to kind of feel that people aren't getting their money's worth here, but when the people are giving me profiles that I've hardly played any games, it's quite hard. You know, it's quite hard for me to do. Oh wait, was there one Xerath? Okay, there was a Xerath game. Oh no, it was mid lane Xerath. Okay, so yeah, maybe it is just, you know, not for you. Who knows? Alright, so thanks very much, dude. Alright, we'll do Radalf next. And let's change it to North America. I think we have like 2 more after this, maybe. I don't know how long we've been going for. 40 minutes! Oh my god, it's a long video. Whoa. God. Again, let me know if you guys like these very long videos. I'm not sure. You can always apply it to yourself, which I think is quite good. Okay, so again, does seem to be a relatively main / one tricky person, which again, I've always said, not the best type of profiles to review, but we'll go with it anyway. Silver 3, 50% overall win rate, which just means you'll continue climbing. Just play more, you'll go up. Again, a lot of people kind of always moan when it's like, oh, climbing takes so long, and a lot of the time they'll compare, like, oh, you were silver and now your account's already in high gold, you know? You can't compare it to something that is incomparable. Like, it's like comparing apples to oranges. The better comparison is if you know somebody that's done a climb as well. Or compare it to my first ever climb when I got diamond the first time. It wasn't very quick. Sure, it may be easy, but it takes time. Like, you can't ignore the time aspect. So yeah, just play more. You'll keep climbing with a 57% win rate. But let's go into some champions. So there's Xerath. Always good to see people playing him. I do enjoy my Xerath, obviously. There's Kog'Maw, pretty good win rate. There is, and then it starts to actually drop off a little bit until we get to Jhin. So 70% win rate, 79% win rate, 40, 44, 44. Then it goes to 75 and then 38. So potentially already I'm starting to see that you've got some very comfortable picks and some picks that you're just like, you know, not doing great on. Kill participation we already can see is quite low. But yeah, right, so let me just quickly. 174 farm, we definitely want to see that go up. You're Xerath, you're a great farming champion. So potentially get that up, especially in the lower ranks where people aren't punishing you as much. Again, Xerath's lane phase is okay, but you can get punished the higher rating you go, where you're probably not going to get as punished here. So really focus on that farm. Try to get that to our 200 average is what I'd say. But the win rate's great. If you keep playing him, that will obviously continue making you climb. Also, the Kog'Maw. I will say it's a bit weird to see the combination of, I never like to say it, but the 2 most scripted champions in the game is Xerath and Kog'Maw. So that's kind of funny. But, you know, not bad win rate at all. 79% in 14 games. Obviously, not as many games, but once again, the farm is a little bit low. Again, looking for roughly that 200. Again, you've got a pretty bad win rate on Xayah, but you've got pretty damn good farms. So that's great. If you apply that farm to Kog'Maw, that would be great. Then we have a random Lee Sin popping up, because it does seem you're mainly a mid and a AD carry player, and then there's randomly Lee Sin. One thing to note. Vayne, I wouldn't recommend most people to play Vayne. She's very hard to pull off. Jhin looks to be doing good. It just seems you've been spamming him over the last couple of days. Not bad. And let's just see how many champions you got overall. 42. That's too many. 42 champions in how many games? It's a decent amount of games, but I'd still say that's too many. Because look how many games you've got of just one champion, one game. Like, you've got... Oh my god. You've got a lot of games, a lot of losses that have just been made you go down in rating of champions that you basically just don't play. 1-5, 1-9, 1-7, 3-13, 6-10, 2-12, 0-7, 2-9, 0-11, 0-5. Why are these games here? You know, ask yourself, why are they even in there in the first place? Because, again, like I said in the last one, whenever you're seeing that someone's played it one time and they do a terrible performance, usually it's because they've not done their research. You don't have to win your first ever game, but, you know, to me, having a terrible performance is showing that you just weren't ready to play it. So cut that out, because, you know, straight away, if those all went away, you know, that's a decent amount of games. Your win rate goes up. You know, that's the difference between getting the promo or not. Like, that's everything. So get rid of that. And again, even, like, you've got one games here. Like, sometimes you've got to question, why is there just a random game? Why, like, you had a great performance on Zed. Where's another game on Zed? Why didn't you play another game on Zed? You had an okay performance on Syndra. Where's another game of Syndra? Why is there only one game of champions that you did good with? And then, obviously, a lot of 2s. 3 losses on Caitlyn with a negative KD, which is a bit interesting. You've got your Lux there, but that was probably before you picked up Xerath, which, again, who's pretty much just the stronger version. But yeah, not bad. Again, you're a mid lane AD carry player, which is actually quite rare. You know, that mix that doesn't happen that often, because they don't really help each other out in terms of skill, but it will help you in the long run being a better player. Potentially a little bit higher kill participation, but sometimes that is hard as an AD carry, especially if you're spending half the game running away from a bruiser in top lane. Your Xerath seems to be fine. Again, the occasional bad performance, but just get that farm. Try to get that farm to over a 200 average. But again, the biggest advice, again, today, I'd say, you know, the OP.G reviews of today, hopefully it's been okay for people who's actually been their profiles. But a lot of them have either been too little games that, you know, there's too little games to really give crazy advice, or they just have to keep playing. Like a 57% win rate overall, that means you're just going to keep climbing. Obviously, yeah, people are pointing out there is very lack of control wards, so potentially look into that. If you do find yourself dying because you're lacking the vision, control wards are your best friend. But you were what? You were Bronze 5. Wow, so you've done pretty good improvement over the past couple of years. You were Bronze 5 100 LP at the end of Season 6, which is, again, Bronze 5 is the lowest you can be. Then you went to Silver 5, so you're already up from where you were last season. You've got a 57% win rate, so you'll just keep climbing. It does seem that maybe you're doing a little bit of duo queuing, but not too much to really skew anything. But yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep playing. Keep playing your picks that you're comfortable with. Sure, expand out, but always make sure you know what you're doing on them. Kind of like, you know, the same that we've seen. Again, recently, doing these OP.GG reviews, it shows me that a lot of people play very little champions, but then a lot of people just have so many games just on one champion randomly. So, why is that a thing? So, that's pretty much it. All right, next one. I think we might have one more. If he is here. If you are here, speak your mind. Tier 2 Twitch subscriber, because I think we have one more, and then we'll be done, and then I'll be back playing some solo queue. But I don't know how often I'm gonna do these, you know, once a week, or I'm not sure. All right, you're there. Oh, we got 2 more. Okay, we're gonna cut it out. Like, we're gonna cut the deadline. If there's any more donations, anything like that, we'll do it next time. I want to just do these 2, so we'll do Mike's and we'll do Chev's. We'll do Chev's first, and then we'll do Mike's as the last one. And that'll be it for today. Okay, let's just click update myself. It's just habit. Okay, solo. Some people have asked, by the way, will I do these for flex queue? The answer is no. To me, there's literally just no point. So, yeah, that just basically answers that question. Okay, so let's go through it. Gold 3, 53% win rate, positive win rate on North America. Seems to be a mid and jungle player. which is a good combination to have because it means you have control of the map. They're the two biggest controlling roles in solo queue, mid and jungle. So that's a good combination. Steve is your highest played. Actually, pretty damn good KDA, good win rate. Again, nearly getting that 200 farm. Pretty there. Someone did just quickly saying it's been very useful for you. Well, I'm glad. If it's useful to the people that are submitting their profiles, that's the most important thing. Yeah, nearly at that 200 farm. Good KDA and a good win rate. Again, like I've said before, good win rate. Good KDA means nothing if you don't have the win rate. Good win rate. Nearly 47 games played. 47 games played with 57% win rate. That, to me, is really decent. Your Shyvana, again, nice win rate. Nice win rate. Lower win rate than we'd like. And again, good KDA, bad win rate. Means the KDA isn't working. Means you need to have a higher game impact. The Lee Sin, not bad. So overall, again, it's another one of these profiles. Well, first thing I'll say is that it's another one of these profiles that it seems that the person on their champions that they play know what they're talking about. But obviously, something has to be going wrong. Something has to be kind of... Well, firstly, I'm not impressed. Like, what's that about? Like, never do that. Like, I don't know if this Chavez guy is there. And even if you say, oh, the game was ending... That's not an excuse. Never do that. That's just like being a salty kid. So let's just cut that right out. Like, is there any other ones of that? Okay, it does seem that's the only one you've done it, which is good, but don't do that. So obviously there seems, because the win rate is okay, but when you're looking at these win rates, the overall percent win rate is 53, but your champions that you're very good at are a lot higher. So where is your win rate being lowered? My guess is that you're probably somebody that picks up random champions a little bit. A little bit. 0, 5, 1, 7, 1, 6. So yeah, there's a little bit of random picks going on. So obviously be very careful with that. 2 losses on Ziggs, 2 losses on Zin. That's pretty much where the downer has been. So right here, there's what? 6 losses for free because they're champions that you probably just haven't picked up yet. So there's 6 losses. There's 10 losses right there on champions that you probably just didn't do enough research on, or you ask the question, why did you pick it? You know, if you're playing Zin, why didn't you pick your Shyvana? Why didn't you pick your Lee that clearly you know a little bit more about? 2 losses on Ziggs, why didn't you pick your Vel'Koz, who basically does the same job? This is the type of thing, or your Xerath, who's basically just a better version of Ziggs. This is the type of thing you've always got to think about. And then, you know, again, Victor, similar above. You've got an Ezreal game here, which I'm not going to go on you a lot because I presume that was autofill because you've only played it once. Brand, maybe support. You've got a Fizz game here, very high deaths. And then you've got Vi and Renekton. Vi in the jungle went 1 and 7. Well, why didn't you play Jax? Why didn't you play Lee? Why is there a random Vi game there? And then your Renekton, maybe again that's autofill because you don't have any other top laners really. So again, I'm not going to go on that. So really, you're playing okay on the champions that you know how to play, which is good. But then just some random picks are just causing you just losses where you don't need to have losses. Again, you are picking up some random champions here. Again, just be careful with it. And then when you're picking up other champions that have similarities to champions you're already playing, ask yourself, why are you picking that champion? Why am I picking Ziggs this game when clearly my Vel'Koz is good, when clearly my Xerath is okay? Ask yourself that question too. And again, expanding your champion pool is always good, but do you necessarily need to expand it to a Ziggs when you've already got champions that cover the same playstyle? Play something different, play something, you know, more unique. And if it's like, oh no, the playstyle of Ziggs would be good this game, well, stick with a champion you clearly know how to play a lot more. That will basically just give you more wins overall, less losses, obviously, help you to climb a little bit quicker. And I think you'll still climb anyway, but it's part and parcel of basically, for every little free loss that you give, you'll just make it a little bit longer for yourself to actually get to a rating that you will eventually get to. Again, I'm not going to say you deserve it, because you only deserve it when you achieve it, but you'll probably keep climbing if you just keep doing what you're doing. So, yeah, just keep playing. Play champions you know. If you are going to expand your champion pool out, ask yourself the question, why? And if you're in the champion select, basically go, why am I picking this over one of my other stuff? As for control wards, there is, you know, a decent amount of control wards. Every now and then there's not, but then there's every now and then you'd buy 3. So that's not bad. Again, there's a little range here that you're not, but overall not too bad. So keep doing what you're doing, play champions you know, and always ask yourself basically the question, why? So hopefully that will help. And then finally, we're doing our last guy. of today's OP.GG review. Again, we've locked that we're not taking any more now. If people want it, and if they do a tier 2 Twitch sub now or donation, we'll do it for next time. So yeah. Okay, let's update. It's bugged out. It's OP.GG is a little bit buggy today, I'm going to be honest. All right, rank solo. Rank solo. Cool. Right, so we're on North America once again. A lot of North Americans here, everybody. Silver player through and through by the looks of it. 3 seasons a row in silver without much gain. You know, silver 5, silver 4, silver 4. So obviously there is something holding this person back from achieving a higher rating. And again, that can be... There's a lot of reasons why that can be. Someone's natural skill ceiling could be silver, and they have to try and break through it. Maybe they just don't put enough time into learning. There's a number of things. But obviously win rate slightly negative. So we'll obviously find out why is that. Because so far the champions that they actually play doesn't seem terrible not to be a negative win rate overall. 55%, 57%, 43 is a little bit low. Again, good KDA, negative win rate means the KDA isn't helping, means you need to get more involved. But the farm, I'd say, is brilliant. Like, if you're averaging, and I clicked, this is solo, 280 farm in 42 games, that's godlike. That is very, very good. Obviously, you're not getting punished that hard for playing Jinx, which is quite rare because she's got very little mobility, but that's very good, so be happy about that. Try to maintain that as much as you can. And then obviously the Xerath farm goes a little bit lower. You'd probably want to raise that, but the KDA is good. The win rate's fine. Jhin, like I've said, KDA is good, but the win rate's negative, so you need to get more involved. But, you know, again, sometimes Jhin is that type of AD carry that just gets outperformed by the equivalents of crit AD carries. Crit AD carries are just so strong. Negative Caitlyn. Again, sometimes you've got to ask yourself the question, why am I picking Caitlyn when clearly my Jinx is amazing, when clearly my Jhin is probably better than my Caitlyn. Lux, some very good games on Lux. Random Cogmore picks. So let's have a little look of why the win rate is negative, shall we? Because, yeah, you've got some good champions here. Please don't bug out. Please. Please. Okay, there we go. Good. All right, so, again, not too many random games, obviously, happening. But we have... So, 2 on Tristana. Lost. So, again, it's very similar in a weird way to... last profile. You're picking up champions that do basically the same job as others, but you're clearly better at the other stuff, so why are you picking up this stuff? So, you know, here there's just 5 losses that you probably didn't need, that suddenly, if those 5 losses didn't actually happen in your profile, suddenly you're not at a negative win rate. You know, if you, let's say, in those 5 games, let's say on average with your win rate, you won 3 of them, you lost 2 of them, well, your win rate actually gets flipped completely and you're on positive and you'll probably be climbing a little bit more. So, again, be careful of that. You know, why are you picking Trist when your Jinx is good? Why are you picking, I don't know, Misfortune when your Jhin is good? That is, you know, one thing I want to say. Is that is obviously, I'd say, one of your biggest problems, is that you're just picking champions that do the same job when you're clearly just really good at other stuff. And again, I know people don't want to be a one-trick, but the weird thing and the one unique thing about AD carry is the role that doesn't matter as much of what you play. Because usually there's only 3 AD carries each patch that is actually strong. And being good at one AD carry does generally help you be good at another. So if right now you're very good at Jinx and she's strong in the meta, keep playing Jinx. And if she eventually gets weak, well, you should be okay to play other stuff. But right now your Jinx is really kind of carrying you through. So obviously that is really good. But I will say, I'm very impressed with your farm. Like, you know, 9.2 average, 7.7 average, 8.5 average. That's something to be really, really happy about. So I'd take that and just keep doing it. And again, if you get rid of just the random picks, keep playing stuff that you're more core to, I think you'll probably just keep climbing. Like, I think you'll... I don't know if you'll break out of silver, potentially, but I definitely think you'll easily get to silver 1 if you keep doing what you're doing. Because your Jinx has got some very good performances there. So yeah, just keep farming. Keep playing champions you know. Like, keep with, like... I'd say you can probably keep your Jhin. Maybe these 3 champions. Your Jhin, Jinx, and Xerath. I think that win rate will flip around if you just kind of focus on being a little bit more involved. And And, you know, the weird thing of how champions work, Jinx is very easy to farm on because she's got AoE rocket. So you can basically be farming while killing the enemy team at the same time. Jhin can't do that. So potentially you're playing Jhin like Jinx, and that doesn't really work very well. You have to play them in their own different way. So potentially that's it. But obviously you've got a couple games on Lux and you've done very well there. So potentially like Lux, these three, focus on them, see how it goes. Do it for like 2 weeks. Play those 4 champions for 2 weeks. See how that goes. See what rating you get. Focus on the farm. Continue to do that. And your deaths are very low. You know, you don't have to focus on them at all. So, you know, pretty damn good. Just keep doing it, basically. But hopefully that will help. That is it for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I had a few messages from the people that got their profiles done saying they really, really liked it. And obviously to you guys at home, if any of you in last episode people saw similarities between the profiles I'm doing and themselves, then you can basically just apply that to your own profile. That's the idea. But that's going to be it. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, throw a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.